The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Eels Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and it is the Gold Coast Titans versus Parramatta Eels review. And yes, I know it is 2 days after the event, but I just had to take a day off yesterday, spend it with the family, and just recover from another Parramatta loss. Unfortunately, the Gold Coast winning the game 24 points to 16 up there at Cbus Super Stadium. And look, it was a 4-3 win. Jaden Campbell 4 from 4 with the boot. DJ Arcee with 2 from 3. So, look, 16,570 people at the game. If you were one of those, please let me know if you were and what your thoughts were on the game. It was great to see plenty of Parramatta blue and gold supporters there. But to the game, and look, Parramatta, they had an early chance after a few minutes. There was a dangerous tackle with Chad Randall from the Gold Coast Titans on RCG, but unfortunately a theme throughout the night, handling errors cost Parramatta a chance to score with Matt Dury knocking the ball on. Unfortunately, he had a bit of a night that he would like to forget, I guess. He got his chance in the starting lineup, but unfortunately made a few mistakes, which wasn't too good. Look, the second opportunity that the Titans got down Parramatta's end, they got a penalty, and they got a try through Alafine Khan Pereira. So he's a try-scoring machine. I think he scored 36 tries in 36 games. And plenty of those against Parramatta, as well as a double on this night that they beat the Eels. So his first try was basically debutant Mulatalo, Lorenzo, Eel player number 849, basically jammed in off his wing. He slipped, unfortunately. Jaden Campbell, Look, Jaden Campbell, he threw the pass. He lobbed the pass, a great pass out to Khan Pereira. And look, Jaden Campbell playing his 50th NRL game, so it was a milestone game for him. He saw the opportunity out wide. He lobbed the pass out to Khan Pereira, and basically he ran over untouched in the corner, and Campbell converted, and it was 6-0. Discipline for Parramatta was a problem, as there was a penalty after the kickoff for a strip to the Titans, but there was 2 in the tackle, unfortunately. And then Khan Pereira, that man again, scores his second try in 5 minutes. Again, Mulatalo comes in off his wing to try and take the centre, and Khan Pereira goes in untouched for his second try. That was only 3 minutes later after his first try. So at this point in time, it was looking like it was going to be a cricket score, unfortunately, because it was 12-0 to the Titans. Phil Sami, he was a late call-in to the game, scores a try for the Titans, his 5th try in 5 games against the Parramatta Eels. So another player who loves playing the Parramatta Eels indeed is Phil Sami. And look, Jake Tungo, unfortunately, in his second game, it was a great tackle from Jaden Campbell, who dislodged the ball. The ball got shifted to the right. Sami, he used a bit of footwork, and look, it is try July, but Sami, he did a bit of a Gutherino after he scored. It was a pretty lousy one, to be honest. I think he was just having a go at Gutho again, but you saw pictures of him on social media from the Gold Coast Titans and the Parramatta Eels, of them laughing and joking together. So I guess, it's all in vain. They just have a bit of a laugh against each other about something that happened last year, I think it was, when Gutho scored a try over the top of Sami. He did a Gutherino, I think, so something like that. That was at Combank Stadium. So look, I guess it's for charity. Try July is happening now, so every try scored and a celebration done, there will be $5,000 donated to charity from Sportsbet. So I guess, I could say well done, Phil Sami, for scoring that try and doing that Gutherino, because he raised a bit of money there. And that was only 19 minutes after the game, and after the game started, and Campbell converted that. So it was 18-0, and very alarming signs for Parramatta. You thought they were just going to run away with it, the Gold Coast Titans, because 18-0 after 20 minutes, it was pretty concerning. The kicking game from the Gold Coast was pretty much on song. Look, in those early stages, every kick that went down to Clint Gutherson, the chase from Brian Kelly was pretty good. He was just there and just smashed him right on the ball there. And it was just the thing of the night. The kicks were in the right position. The chase was exceptional. And Gutho had nowhere to move, unfortunately, for most of those kicks. He did run for 260 metres, which is pretty surprising, knowing the kicks that were thrown to or kicked to him. But early on in that game, Brian Kelly was just smashing him off the kicks. RCG, who I thought probably didn't speak the best at his media conference when asked about Jason Riles, and I can post that up later for you if you wish, and you can make your own opinion. But just from myself listening to that and watching that in his press conference, I was a little bit doubted about him and about whether he wanted to be at Parramatta or not. But the performance on the weekend probably showed that he does want to be at Parramatta. For me, he was the Parramatta Eels player of the match. He had some great runs, especially there was 2 off dropouts, and one of those he caused a line break, and I think the run was for about 40 metres, 45 metres or something for the game total. He ran for 202 metres. He made 31 tackles. He made 4 tackle breaks and 1 offload as well. 3 offloads. So a great performance from Regan Campbell-Gillard, as I said, my player of the match from an Eels perspective. Who was yours? But certainly it was a bit surprising, especially after those comments that he made in the press conference about Jason Riles coming. And as I said before, I can post those up and you can make your own decision about that if you wish. Just let me know. Look, the Eels' fifth tackle options were pretty ordinary, to be honest. They did have four repeat sets, so which was 4 dropouts. So they did have 4 of those, but majority of their early fifth tackle options were a bit all over the place, to be honest. One of them, Gutho, got caught with a ball and he tries to offload, but it goes straight to the Titans. Then shortly after, another fifth tackle option, Parramatta run the ball. They try and get a repeat set. So there was not that real game management there. Obviously, Mitchell Moses is in State of Origin, so he would have had the right option, I guess, there if he was playing. But there was no real game management from the halves. I think Dylan Brown tried hard with his running game. He did run for 179 metres, and we did see that he was trying his hardest to make some breaks and the like. He nearly did on a couple of occasions, but just those fifth tackle options for me probably weren't the right ones, and we saw that getting caught with the ball. Look, Parramatta's first try to Luca Moretti, who only just got on the field, it was his first touch, was, I guess, a pretty lucky try, you could say. AJ Brimson, he passed it to Blaze Talangi. He must have called for it, Blaze, but he didn't, then passed it to Luca Moretti, who runs over and scores. So that was his second try in 17 games, and Arcee converted to get back to 18-6. So that was 30 minutes into the game. So, look, a lucky try, but you will take them when you can. Gold Coast then made a mistake by kicking the ball out in the full from the kickoff. And as a result, Parramatta get down to the Gold Coast line, but they couldn't score, but they do get a repeat set. And again, strange thing from the Titans with their dropouts, they practically kicked it long, going back old school, kicking the ball long as far as they could, instead of these short dropouts. And look, I'm a lover of the long dropouts. I'm not a fan of the short dropouts. I understand why they do the short dropouts, but perhaps this was a tactic of the Titans to do the long dropouts to obviously get the forwards tired of Parramatta having to do those big runs. And again, look, I really loved it. And again, Regan Campbell-Gillard, he did another long run back off another Gold Coast Titans dropout. So, look, it was great to see. That's probably why he got probably 60 to 80 of his 202 metres, but he still had to run it, obviously. But I really love the long dropouts, and I wish Parramatta would do them. Where Parramatta aren't too successful at the short dropouts, they do get a few here and there, but I would, especially in whatever situation it is as well, I guess if you are winning the game, you probably want to kick it long, just to get the opposition away from your try line. It was 18-6 at half time, so a little bit of a fight back from Parramatta to get 6 points on the board and only be 12 points behind at half time. So look, it was an interesting first half. The Titans dominated that one, and at one stage, as I said before, it looked like it could have been a cricket score, but the Eels, they dug in. They did get that lucky try. Still had a lot of work to do. Bit of a dubious call after half-time, I reckon. Sean Lane was ruled to have played at the ball from a Titans kick. Now, I thought that was the wrong call. Let me know what your thoughts are, but I thought that was a wrong call because I thought he had his back turned, but unfortunately the referee ruled otherwise and ruled that Sean Lane played at that ball, so it ended up being the Titans' ball. A little bit later on, Parramatta had Parramatta's first try scoring opportunity in the second half, ended up with Jake Tungo going into touch. And look, to be honest, I didn't think he was going to score then. It just looked like he was running out of room and the cover defence from the Titans was coming over, and I just didn't think he was ever going to score there. Look, credit to him for giving it a crack and giving it a try. Obviously, Parramatta needed points at that time, but perhaps if he had his time over again, maybe he would have tried to step inside or just stay away from that touchline. But credit to him for giving it a crack and trying to score the try. One of the first times that the Gold Coast get in the second half, that the Gold Coast get down to Parramatta's end, they score a try. Now, that man again, Jaden Campbell, he put a pretty smart kick, which saw Gutho, he was out of position, so he was on the other side of the field, Jaden Campbell's obviously seen that, and he puts in a kick for Brian Kelly, who scored the try there. And look, Gutho, he was on the other side of the field. He was out of position, and credit to Jaden Campbell by spotting that. That's pretty much eyes up footy, seeing that their fullback is on the other side of the field. And he's put that kick through for Brian Kelly, and he scored the try. So, well done, Jaden Campbell, for seeing that. A bit disappointing that Gutho was out of position. He obviously thought the ball was going over the other side of the field and just couldn't get over to defend that kick. So, unfortunately, the Gold Coast scored then, and that was their only try in the second half. They already built up that lead in that first half. Will Penasini, look, he kept the Parramatta Eels in contention by scoring the second Eels try in the 58th minute. He beat that man, Brian Kelly, who scored the previous try. He stayed alive. He practically crawled to the line, but scored. So there was still 20 minutes to go. Unfortunately, RC missed the conversion, and there was still 20 minutes to go at that stage. So it ended up being 24-10. So still time for Parramatta to get back into this game and potentially win it after that try, but it was certainly something that they needed. Once again, smart play from Clint Gutherson as well, who had a pretty good game despite, I guess, that being out of position try. He ran for 260 metres from 26 runs. He was 4 tackle breaks. He scored the try that I'm just about to talk about as well. So this was after a off the back fence run from RCG after a dropout. Gutho, he got into dummy half. It was close to the line. Generally, when you see Gutho go into dummy half close to the line, you know he's going to run. He is one of those players that when he gets into dummy half, he can obviously see something, even see something before the ball, before the tackle is made. But you know that if he gets into dummy half, then he is going to try something, that is for sure. And look, this time it worked. He got into dummy half, he ran around the markers, and look, despite being tacklers there, Todd Smith, the referee, he had full view of it, and he saw the ball go down on the ground. So he awarded the try to Clint Gutherson in the 65th minute. Look, there was still 13 minutes to go. The Eels were behind by 8 points, but they could not get those of 8 points, obviously, and they went down 24 points to 16. So a little bit surprising, considering they had 6% more possession, 4 minutes more possession in the game. They just couldn't capitalise on that. The execution of fifth tackle options wasn't too good. Handling errors was a problem. Discipline was a problem again as well. Overall, 75% completion rate in the game. The Gold Coast Titans, 86%, 2 less sets. So, look, as I said, those handling errors are pretty much cost Parramatta some try-scoring opportunities in this game, which is a little bit disappointing. Obviously, the offloads as well. Parramatta won that 19 offloads to 10. We do know that Parramatta are an offloading team, and they are known for that. So that's the facts there. And look, it was pretty much 4 ruck infringements to each side. Penalties conceded, 5 to the Eels, 4 to the Gold Coast Titans. Errors were pretty similar. All interchanges were used by Parramatta, only 7 from the Gold Coast. So to some of the top performers, we've already mentioned Gutho and Regan Campbell-Gillard. Dylan Brown, as I mentioned before as well, he was trying hard, running hard. 179 metres. Sean Lane, 169. Luca Moretti, 169 metres. Now, he scored also one try as well. I thought he was one of Parramatta's better players. On Saturday night against the Gold Coast, his first game in first grade for a while. So I think he was one of the better performers from Parramatta. 17 runs, 169 metres. So he was one of the better players, along with Clint Gutherson and also Regan Campbell-Gillard as well. Charlie Geimer, who started this game at lock, was a little bit more quiet, I thought, in this game than the last game that he played against South Sydney, his debut game. He only played 41 minutes in this game, which I think is about the same amount of time. He may have played a little bit extra against South Sydney, but a different position this game. Only 9 runs for 70 metres. He did make 27 tackles though, so a pretty fairly solid effort from Charlie in his second game of first grade as well. So overall, as I said, I think I would probably give Regan Campbell-Gillard the player of the match, closely followed by Clint Gutherson and Luca Moretti as well. But look, it's another disappointing loss from the Parramatta Eels. Now, usually I would head up to the Gold Coast for that game. Unfortunately, I wasn't up there this weekend for that game. And it might have been probably a good thing that I wasn't up there as Parramatta lost the game. But look, it was a game that the Gold Coast needed to win. To keep their faint top 8 chances alive. They are sitting on 18 points at the moment with the Brisbane Broncos. So they're Queensland neighbours there, the Queensland Big Brothers, you could say. The Warriors on 19th, the Raiders on 20, the Knights on 20, the Dragons on 22, Cowboys on 22 in the 8 as well. So, look, they do keep their faint top 8 chances alive, but it'll be a tough run in. They'll pretty much have to win every single game to make the 8. The Rabbitohs are behind them on 18 points on for and against as well. So there was talk about them making the 8 as well. So they will have to win every game as well. And a lot of talk over the weekend with the Broncos losing to the Dragons. Whether they will make the finals as well. I think there was talk they have to win 7 out of 8 or something like that to get into the 8. So very trying times for the Broncos. But the Titans, they do keep their slight, and I mean very slight. I don't think they will make the 8. But you never know. If they keep on winning games, then they very much could. And if results go their own way, I don't think they will. Parramatta's season, well, that was over a few weeks ago. They sit in 16th spot. They are trying to avoid the wooden spoon. Thankfully, the Tigers, they lost to the Sharks in a big fashion and now sit 50 points on for and against away from Parramatta. So a little bit of a buffer zone there, I guess you could say, for Parramatta. They definitely do not want that 17th position and that wooden spoon. So they're in a battle to win games with the Tigers, and it now looks like that round 27 game out at Campbelltown will be the challenge, the wooden spoon challenge, I guess you could call it. Parramatta have a bye this weekend, so they will get 2 points for that. So they will go 2 points in front of the Tigers. The Tigers have South Sydney. So if South Sydney are going to make the finals, then they will have to beat the Tigers. So you would think that the Parramatta Eels would have 2 points advantage there. And again, look, a very trying time for Parramatta Eels fans, so try and stick in there, stick with your team. The new coach was announced last week, Jason Riles, for the next 4 years, starting in November 2024 for the 2025 season. There was some breaking news over the weekend that potentially the Melbourne Storm would release Jason to the Parramatta Eels early, so he could get his work for 2025 started early. He won't be coaching the side. Interim coach Trent Barrett will be doing that. He won't be Jason Riles won't be coaching the team. He will merely be, I guess you could say, watching the team play each and every week. No doubt he has done that before as well, before he got the job, but in a more intense way. I guess he will be watching them. He'll be, I guess, in and around the club as well, but he won't be coaching the team. Trent Barrett will be doing that for the rest of the season, and Jason Riles will have an eye on towards 2025. So interesting times ahead for the Eels. As I said, the Eels have a bye next weekend, so there won't be any game day previews for the Parramatta Eels. But coming up this week on the podcast, I will have a Game 3 State of Origin preview with a few State of Origin legends, one from Queensland, one from New South Wales. So stay tuned for that one. That one will be out probably today as well, just so you can get that game day preview into so you can listen to that one, get their thoughts and make your own predictions about the game on Wednesday. There will be a State of Origin review for Game 3 as well, the series decider. There will be an interview-based podcast coming out on Thursday as well, and that will probably be it for the rest. There will be a tipping podcast as well. I forgot to mention that one as well. Not that I'm doing too well in my tips. I'm 3 from 5 this week, so again, I couldn't get over that perfect round figure. So even though there was only 5 games, so that was a little bit disappointing to do that. 3 teams have the bye this week, so there is 7 games this weekend. Anyway, that's what's coming out over the podcast. Stay tuned on the Instagram channel as well. Give that a follow as well if you want to stay in touch with what's happening on the Paracave podcast, Facebook as well. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that preview. Please let me know your thoughts on the game as well, the Parramatta Eels versus the Gold Coast Titans. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your player of the match and why. And let's see if it's the same as mine. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the rest of the week and stay tuned to what's coming up on the podcast. I really appreciate the support. Go Para!
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave